Hey, I'm Carlos, and this is my wife.
I'm Kim.
I'm the owner and operator of BuckarooGear. I've been building and selling good quality cowboy using gear for the better part of 23 years. One of the things I specialize in is custom chaps and chinks, and that kind of brings us to why we decided to do this video. Sewing machines, or a sewing machine, is a vital part of our business. It's a vital tool in the shop, and we saw a need to get a second sewing machine, a smaller sewing machine that's capable of sewing chaps and other accessories. And why don't you tell them kind of what you've been doing and what your experience level is with sewing?
Sure. So I'm Kim of K&K Western Designs. I like to make jewelry. I use leather, beads. I've been doing some laser cut earrings and jewelry too. I have zero experience with a sewing machine. All I know is what I see you sitting down and doing, and I don't know how any of it works. So what we were thinking is this would be a good opportunity to do a video where we unbox and set up and show the use of this machine from my perspective as a complete beginner, because we thought that whatever challenges I run into would be things that I think anyone would run into, right?
Yeah, exactly, especially as a beginner.
So we looked at Sailrite as a company. We had heard some good things. I'd kind of asked around, and what we heard from them, from the people that we spoke to that had Sailrite machines, was that their customer service was really good, that the machines were quality machines. And so we thought this would be a company that we could work with. So we went ahead and bought one, and we're looking forward to seeing how the setup goes. And
I would say, I mean, from a beginner standpoint, which would be Kim, documentation and customer service is the #1 priority. Mm-hmm. Documentation on how to set up the machine, support going forward, you know, a user manual, just a general user manual. For somebody that's never sewn before, it can be pretty intimidating. And a general user manual that you can go through. And not to mention, we watched the video on, they have a complete video series, or a complete video on how to assemble the sewing machine. And then not only that, but how to start sewing for your very first time, don't they?
Yeah, and so we both watched the setup video, so I have an idea of what it's going to look like, and it looked pretty clear to me.
Very clear.
They zoomed in on details, and they were very detailed about how certain pieces should be facing and the things that you're going to be looking for. It definitely wasn't like setting up furniture from a store I won't mention, but it appeared really detailed, and it looks like it should be straightforward. I know there's always going to be bumps along the road, but I'm ready to go.
What type of things are you going to be sewing?
Okay, so I have handmade little bags, little crossbody purses. You sewed a couple of card wallets for me. I'd like to be able to do those little things.
And mainly everything is made out of chap leather, which would also be upholstery leather. So
yeah,
like, the other thing that's really cool about getting this machine is it would be a backup to the machine that I've been using for 20 years, sewing chaps on. And it's a class 18 style machine. And those of you that know sewing machines maybe, or maybe you don't, but the class 18 machine is based on the old Singer 111 casting, and it's the same casting except for the provisions that they made more recently for a reversing lever. It's the same casting that basically the same casting has remained unchanged for over 100 years. So this machine is not going to be your bigger harness level type machine, but it's going to be the machine that you would want for smaller projects, up to about, I would say, 7/16 of an inch in thickness and a max of 1/38 size thread. So I guess,
oh, you know
maybe
what?
you want to talk to them or tell them about who Sailrite is, because I know a lot of people that are in my sort of industry or in my niche with cowboy gear probably have never even heard of Sailrite.
Yeah, so we did some research, and it sounds like the company was started by Jim Grant in 1969, and he sailed and did sail competitions.
Yeah, so Sailrite.
And the idea was, over the development of that company, the idea was to take an already available, commercially available sewing machine and adapt it for the marine industry and sailing industry and make it portable so they could take this thing out to like where the boats are.
Yeah. And repair and modify and do whatever needed to be done with their sails on a boat. And so from there, they've moved into a number of different industries that require a sewing machine or the expertise of a sewing machine, and developed machines based on that. They're into what? Like
home decor, outdoor
upholstery
stuff, auto upholstery.
And they're trying to break into leathercraft more recently, I think, within the last, I don't want to speak out of turn, but maybe the last 6 months to a year. And so that's sort of how we came across them. We had a friend refer us or talk about their Sailrite machine and how happy they were with them. So here we are.
Which makes sense to me. If you can sew sails and canvas and heavier upholstery type fabrics, then why not apply it to the leather?
Yeah.
I did also notice in the video that came after the setup video that was like how to start using the machine, that they do have settings and things directions they provided for using it on regular household thin fabrics. So if we wanted to, I don't know what I would even sew, but they...
When you got brave and learned how to sew better?
I don't know, I guess.
You're gonna make curtains?
Yeah, I don't know. But the idea is that this machine can be used for regular, like thinner household fabrics.
So basically, the video is not only going to be just an unboxing video, because this machine showed up in 5 different boxes. It's going to be a video from the perspective of Kim as a first-time sewer, not knowing how to sew, and we want to just sort of document her experience learning how to sew on this new machine, and I think it's going to be beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I think we better get into it.
All right, let's do it.
All right. All right, so the machine that we purchased is the Deluxe Fabricator. They make 2 different machines available at Sailrite. One is the standard and the other is the Deluxe. The Deluxe comes with a much more rigid stand, a nicer stand or frame, as well as a butcher block tabletop that's manufactured here in the US in Indiana. It's not necessary to have the Deluxe. It's just a little bit of a nicer finished tabletop and a stouter stand. The beauty about the Sailrite is it comes with a complete color printed instruction manual on not only how to assemble, but also how to operate the machine and make adjustments, a complete schematic on the oiling system. And if you are a first-time sewing machine user, you could learn how to use this machine and sew for the first time just based on the manual that it comes with. Originally, what we were going to do was a step-by-step assembly video, but it is not necessary for us to do that. It would have taken way too much time. And Sailrite has, in these manuals, QR codes for you to scan, and they have complete assembly videos, how to use videos, troubleshooting videos, a huge video library on these Fabricator machines on the Sailrite website. I'll make sure to include a link here on the screen, as well as a link in the description below here. We were really impressed with the fit and finish of everything, including we also purchased, along with the Deluxe machine, the leather craft package, And in hindsight, we probably didn't need this because obviously I'm a leather crafter already. I have a bunch of tools and a bunch of supplies that already pertain to sewing. So in the Leathercraft package, which you do absolutely need and you can purchase a la carte, is the smaller pulley for the motor and the leather presser foots. And you can purchase these a la carte. You don't have to purchase the Leathercraft package to get those two accessories, but those are the two accessories that you're definitely going to need that come in the Leathercraft package. Again, you can purchase those separately. In the Leathercraft package, there's also a bunch of different types of needles. There's a bunch of thread, and there's also a really handy thread burner that comes in the package. That's a really nice thread burner. It's a battery operated thread burner. But as you guys can see here, it took us probably collectively about 5 hours to put this machine together with Kim's help, and you know, obviously going through the manual pretty thoroughly and taking it step by step. It's by no means hard. One thing that we did notice in the manual is that there is no list of tools that are needed to assemble the machine, and most of the tools that you need are metric, and they're not really specialty tools. The only thing that's maybe a little bit on the specialty side is a set of digital calipers. And I visited with Sailrite about this, and I've sent them a list of tools that I used, and I think they have updated their documentation both on the website and are planning on updating the documentation, the printed documentation that comes with the machine, on a list of tools that you're going to need to assemble the sewing machine. Here at the end of the video, I'm going to go ahead and throw up a screenshot with a list of the tools that I use to assemble the machine, and we'll kind of do a wrap up and a summary on the machine. You can see at the very end of the video, I sew on it directly out of the box. The only thing I changed on it was the presser foot for a leather presser foot, and then we also put Kim behind the machine, and she sewed for the very first time. And the beauty about this machine is the control on the motor and drive system. You have absolute control. The speed is as slow or as fast as you want it, and it's amazing how far technology has come. The digital servo motor and the drive system still amazes me. I've had a chance to really get familiar with the machine over the last couple of weeks. I've sewn, by now I've probably sewn 3 or 4 pair on it. Actually, I've sewn 3 pair for sure, and then done some smaller projects, 3 pair of chaps. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Here in a minute, we are going to run the machine for the first time, and Kim is also going to sew for the very first time, so stay tuned. Here's a listing of the tools I found we needed to assemble the sewing machine.
I'm gonna try this because I've never tried it before, and I think maybe it'll work. I don't know.
I guess we'll find out if you're not supposed to tie this. Is it gonna go through the needle and all that fine?
No, I just want it to go through.
Oh, just to pull it through. Oh, got it. Okay. Well, that's a good idea then, seems like. So this threading is similar to your other machine.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be fairly consistent in how you thread this. Although we do always recommend consulting your manual and not winging it like Carlos is doing right now.
I took the pressure foot plate off because I thought maybe I'd change the feed dog plate, but I decided it's the same exact feed dog, or looks exactly like the feed dog plate that I've been running on my sewing machine for 20 years. So I figured why change it? Because the leather machine, or the leather accessory, comes with this smooth feed dog plate, which I haven't been running one like that, so why?
But there might be instances where
Yeah,
you prefer that
other
one.
people might.
But for the types of leather, maybe if you were running like a suede or something, where something might get marked.
Yeah, if you're worried about the bottom side getting marked up, you definitely want to use the smooth feed dog plate.
Here's the first testing video. Carlos just getting a feel for it.
Right here, testing it for the very first time, I keep on adjusting the stitch length. It was set from the factory, I think, at max stitch length, which is way too big for what I do for leatherwork. So I'm just adjusting the stitch length as I'm testing this thing out for the very first time. Mind you, this is right out of the box. The only thing I changed was the leather presser foot, and you can see how well and how much control it has.
No, I didn't change the needle. I didn't do anything. And that thing is,
Need some adjustment.
yeah, see how it's marked?
Oh, I do see.
Marking that.
So we are going to want to change that.
Not necessarily. It just depends on what you need on your finished leather. Like on the bottom, I don't really care for what I do. Let's get some, I don't even know what size needle this is. So, but
It's working anyway.
It's working, but let's try the Veg-Tan.
All right, we're gonna get some Veg-Tan and try that in here. Again, we didn't change out the...
All we did was change out the presser foot, the top side presser foot, and the left presser foot was the leather accessory.
But it's
option.
the feed dog that we didn't change that
On the
leaves
bottom.
the mark.
And
so we're just playing with it.
yeah, so we're just...
So he's gonna try some Veg-Tan and see what that looks like. For his chaps, he does.
Well, this isn't, it's obvious right now that this is not a leather needle, so I don't know what's gonna happen. Look how slow I can go. You can hear it surging a little bit, trying to push through. Now you can, you hear the needle going through the material. It's not a leather needle, but
it's doing it.
It's doing it.
That's pretty thick Veg-Tan too, huh? Yeah, show how thick the Veg-Tan is. It's thick. What weight is that Veg-Tan?
This is a 10-12 ounce, and then like a 3.5 ounce shaft leather liner on the bottom side. So let's swap out that needle real quick for a TRI needle, and we'll see what we get. I'm sure it's going to be good. Wow. Always want to turn power off. When you swap the needle out, all you need is a flathead screwdriver the pressure foot up. I'm gonna pull the needle down.
Oh, I did see that in the video.
And there's a groove in the needle. You can see there's a relief on this side. This is for the bobbin hook or the shuttle hook to pass through. That side is always going to be that way.
To the right.
To the right.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in the video.
So we're going to swap.
And you sewed this with a needle that wasn't really a leather needle.
No, I don't know what needle came in it, but it comes to a point. This needle here is a...
Is it just sharper?
It's a triangle. It's a triangle point needle. It's a TRI needle. So this is a 135 by 16, size 22 triangle point needle. And this is the type of needle I always sew leather with.
Okay.
So you put that needle in there and you have that relief to the right. See it?
Oh, on this one?
See the relief to the right here?
Yeah.
Kind of hard to see.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see.
But you make sure you slide the needle all the way up in there as far as it'll go. And then you tighten down the set screw here on this one side. My machine, this right here is a little bit tight, so sometimes I use a needle nose pliers to get it down. So I didn't know if I needed them or not. So we're just going to rethread the needle. And this machine has a split presser foot where mine doesn't. It's just got a hole in it, so you can run your thread back through. And when you're starting your stitch, I always like to start my stitch with the top thread over to the left here, and then when I lower my presser foot, when I let my presser foot down, it's on top of this top thread, so that when it goes and makes its first pierce and comes back up, it doesn't pull the top thread up. So we'll just go and we'll start here. I mean, that's the slowest it'll go. I haven't even adjusted with the settings on the motor or anything.
This is right out of the box.
So you're gonna go down, when you wanna turn a corner, you go as far down in the stroke as you can, lift your presser foot up, turn your material, and sew. And we're going to jump over here to this next stitching groove. It's a little bit to get used to with this like ribbed belt. I'm not used to that because it doesn't feel as smooth when you're hand wheeling it, but it's amazing how much more control you have. This thing is so controlled. It has plenty of torque to start this slow and keep going this slow through this thick of material. So I'm just lining up the groove with that slot in the presser foot where the needle runs through. Get to the end of your stitch, come all the way up, lift your presser foot up. You're going to go up as high as you can until the shuttle hook on the bobbin releases the bottom thread. See, I'm just pulling it a little bit. Rotate, rotate. See how it released it?
Yeah.
Okay. Cut your thread. Look at the stitch. I haven't adjusted tension. I haven't done anything. That is pretty phenomenal.
Right out of the box.
Right out of the box.
So for somebody that's new that maybe isn't great at adjusting things, or
that's one heck of a baseline. And again, this is 10-12 ounce Veg-Tan. It's pretty thick. and then about a 3.5 inch shaft leather on the bottom.
And again, on the back here, we didn't adjust the feed dog, right?
We didn't change the feed dog right
we
here.
have a different feed dog.
This right here. This is the feed dog.
Okay, we have a different one that came with the leather package that won't leave marks, right? That's the idea.
Right, and I'm not concerned about it. If you're concerned about it, by all means change it out. But
well, I think we'll change it out anyway.
This is how my old machine's set up, and it doesn't bother me. In certain leathers, like this leather in particular, it's got a little bit of a wax finish to it. It scratches very easily. Other leathers,
you wouldn't even notice.
You wouldn't even know it.
Okay. Great.
Dude, let me tell you something. That machine, it makes it so easy to sew.
So it feels pretty good. Does it go slower than yours?
Yeah.
Or it's about the same?
Yes, it does go slow.
And that's an advantage when you're doing tight things?
The advantage for somebody who doesn't know how to sew.
So things don't get out of hand?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
100%. On the floor in front of the treadle. Yep. Floor in front of the treadle, like that. You're gonna hit this lever with your knee. And that might, there you go. See how you lifted it up? Mm-hmm. So you're gonna lift it up with your knee. You're gonna slide this material through. You're gonna go stop. You're gonna go to the edge here. About right there. Now arrange your top thread like I was showing you.
I wasn't able to see
that slot?
Yeah.
Go through that slot. Try to keep this finger right here, leave it. Okay. Don't get underneath that needle. There you go, perfect. So this thread's gonna go like that. Now you wanna sew this edge.
Oh.
Now you can lower your foot and then see how this is like that. Its tension is underneath this presser foot.
Yeah, I see.
Okay, now just put your foot on the treadle and you're gonna leave, until you really get comfortable sewing, I want you to put your hands here. Don't get like, stay about that far from the needle, okay? And the presser foot. Once you get a longer piece, you can reach around through here.
Oh, I see. But you don't want to get that close.
You don't want to get much closer to this until you get confident and comfortable. And then you just push it down just slow and you'll feel it go. Doesn't have to be fast, it's just as hard as you put, or further you push it down, the faster it'll go. So